Well, it's the end of summer. We have time for one last pool party, but the rest of the iFanboys didn't invite me, so I'm at home enjoying summer how I normally do. Amy? So, this week's episode brought to you by GoDaddy.com. Head over to GoDaddy for all your internet needs. Netflix, as always. Head over to netflix.com/iFanboy and you get a 2-week free trial. So jinx.com/iFanboy, you can get wonderful iFanboy t-shirts. It's getting hot again. Oh yeah, that's good. Thanks.
iFanboy! Oh! I win!
Hey, welcome to iFanboy. It's the video podcast from the comic book discussion site iFanboy.com.
It is.
I am Josh, and I'm here with Ron.
Hello.
And of course, Connor.
Hello. Viewer mail time. We get sometimes the viewer mail bag fills up to the point where Gordon can't lug it around anymore.
Exactly.
So we decided to let him off the hook by taking some out and reading it.
Combining it with a little summer relaxation, you know.
We're by the pool.
We figure what better than to talk some comics.
We're outdoors.
Yeah.
There's grass and stuff. Nature. Fantastic.
That was a bug.
Was there?
Yeah, sorry.
Wow, thank you.
It's going to be the freeze frame for the show, isn't it?
So let's just dive in. We got a bunch of mail here. Vito D from Brooklyn.
Dive in.
Ah.
We will never pun again.
Vito D from Brooklyn, New Yorker says, do you guys have a favorite manga or anime? It seems like manga, for guys like us, is the new alternative, comic being something so foreign, literally, that it usually doesn't fit into our regular reading. Makes you wonder what kids know. Personally, I really liked Cowboy Bebop, Crow Marty High School, and once, while waiting for a plane, I read GTO. How about you guys? And Akira doesn't count. We've all seen or read Akira.
I don't believe that's true.
I've read Akira.
Have you? Have you?
I've read bits of it, yeah.
I've read like half of it.
Well, then it's
And we've
true.
seen it. We've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I remember watching Akira in the 90s, and then I tried to watch Ghost in the Shell, and I was just like, this is crazy. And then I used to try to watch Cowboy Bebop. I said, this is crazier. So I'm not really a big manga or anime fan. I mean, at all.
There's some manga you've read.
Well, it goes without saying, the iFanboy Book of the Year probably has been Project X Challenger's Nissen Cup Noodle, the Eisner nominated Cup Noodle.
I think that was last year.
Yeah, well, but aside from the Project X Challenger series, like, take it or leave it, I leave it. You know?
Well,
I just have no. And Vito is right. That is totally the what is that about comic type of thing that I just don't get. You know?
I don't think alternative comics have been replaced. There's still alternative comics. There's plenty out there to see. So I mean, it's.
But
like
I think they're less foreign to us.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we spend a lot of time in the alternative comic scenes and the mini comics and all that kind of stuff. You know, like nothing has freaked me out as much as, you know, it's been like, why are they reading? You know, like we talked about it on the audio show. Like, why do they read?
There's nothing alternative about manga, though. It's bigger than all the other comics.
Yeah,
I mean, we are regular mainstream superhero comics and indie comics are the alternative comics compared to manga.
Oh, glass half empty.
No, that's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that's the truth.
Depending on your point of view.
That's the financial truth. But we read you read Eagle, right?
I did read Eagle. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I didn't finish it though.
I have the first volume of Eagle.
Eagle is a story. It's basically a straight-ahead slice of life story about a Japanese-American man who runs for president. And but I mean, I don't.
It's been a while since you've read it.
Yeah. And I only read the first. In fact, I gave it to you as a gift, but I read it before I gave it to you.
Ah.
Wow.
And
that's almost unethical or something weird.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I made sure, because if it was like terrible, I would have been like, I'm not giving it to him. I gave it the seal of approval.
Yeah.
And Scott Pilgrim is manga influenced, manga-esque.
I think that we will end up because we just don't follow that because I follow enough. I think that's one of the reasons I don't. There's enough comics that I already know about that I have trouble keeping up with, and so if I were to go after another thing, but like we will start to see the manga affecting the titles that we buy.
Well, we've already kind of seen that.
Eventually, the art's starting.
The art's starting big eyes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think we're starting to see it creep in, and the format as well. I mean, Oni is putting out a ton of digest-sized books, like manga-esque books and stuff like that.
And the Minx line from DC.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting.
But it's totally an age thing. We're just we're about 5 years too old for.
Yeah, sad.
For it.
All right, so move on.
Move on.
All right, so our next email comes from Sean M. from Parts Unknown. I've been there. It's nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
In the summertime, it's nice. I hear.
It's just like the lame joke episode.
No, this part's unknown. He didn't say where he's from, Sean.
Sean says he feels like there are 2 issues that he deals with as a comic fan that affect his ability to enjoy the medium. Issue number 1, no pun intended, is bags and boards. I've bagged.
Oh, it's an issue.
Yeah, it took a while.
We're pun twice now.
The pun counter.
So I hope you enjoyed this last episode of iFanboy.
Where they relegate the puns.
Yeah.
So issue number 1 is bags and boards. He's bagged and boarded since I was a kid in the early 90s and can't make myself stop. It seems that it makes comics more presentable, easier to handle and store, but at the same time it usually prevents me from ever reading a comic again after the initial read. That means I sometimes forget little nuances of the story that carry over. That leads me to think about issue number 2, which is quote-unquote waiting for the trade. If I waited for the trade, I wouldn't have to wait a month or more for each chapter, and also wouldn't have to deal with ads. But the problem is that I'll forget what I want to read since trades aren't covered in the news like first-run floppies. Floppies are a tradition. Part of me would feel like a traitor turning my back on them. Am I the only one who thinks about these things?
Sean, you have a condition called obsessive-compulsive disorder, and you may want to see a doctor or...
Now note that his question isn't whether he should bag or board or read trades. His question is he the only one who thinks about these things?
Right.
No.
I'd love to retire the term floppies, by the way.
I agree.
Yeah,
I hate that term.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'll go with the crowd.
I hate that phrase.
You see, it's tough because we're kind of I know I personally collect a ridiculous amount of monthly issues, and I also buy trades.
Yep.
I enjoy them both for different reasons. I enjoy different titles and different formats and that sort of thing. I bag and board my books, but just because you bag and board them doesn't mean that they're gone forever. I mean, I pull books out to go look at them, just pull them out of the bag.
Part of the reason why I started buying trades more was to reread them, because I never reread. Once I bagged and boarded this stuff, I never reread it.
Well, if you're doing offsite storage, like you.
No, before years.
Oh, really?
You know, I've only been storing offsite for a couple of years now, but 7 years or so starting to buy trades is because I never ever reread stuff after I bagged and boarded it.
I'm enjoying figuring out how many things we own multiple copies of. Like you just bought Grant Morrison's JLA run. You've got that in issues. That's too. Like I've got 7 copies of The Dark Knight. Between issues and trades and.
Do you have the original Dark Knight issues?
I have 1, I think. Yeah.
Number 1?
Not number 1. I think I have issue number 3 in my collection because on one of those I'm going to buy that at a convention.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I have Batman Year 1, the first part.
Nice. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So when you guys started going to buy trades, did you feel like traders?
No.
No, because the way I look at trades is that a lot of the trades are books that I missed in monthly issues, and so I don't feel like I'm trading because I missed it, and I'm catching up, that sort of thing. Like recently, I dropped Invincible from trades, and I'm on monthly issues.
I usually don't ever start a new thing in trades. Right. Like it's like this. It doesn't. I guess because what happens?
A new monthly book, or
right? Because issues come out, and either I decide to read that series or don't, or if I hear about it later, then I find out that I would have liked it and went back, like Scalped or like Fables even. And then sometimes I catch up the issues and start reading that, but sometimes I don't. Like Invincible, I just keep reading the trades. But like keeping your eye on what trades are coming out, it's not all that hard. Like we do a thing every Monday night. They'll have the shipping list up, and that's the issues and the trades that come out. It's no harder to follow than issues. You just, if clearly you're concerned, you're a bit fastidious, so it's probably not hard to follow the shipping list that comes out.
I'm assuming he says he doesn't know what trades to buy since they're not covered like the single issue releases are, and I don't know that that's necessarily.
They are, but
case.
they're not. I mean, the thing is like it's like when Spider-Man took his mask off. It happened in Civil War issue number 2 or whatever. It didn't happen in the Civil War trade. Like things don't happen in trades.
Yeah, it did. It's right there.
I know, but I mean, it's news when it first.
Right,
happens.
but you don't need to read it when it's news. The point is, he knows it's in Civil War. You can go buy the trade when it comes out.
Right, but there's a delay. I'm saying.
Yeah, but the delay is. My point is, he's so into it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to know what he needs to look for when it comes out.
You guys buy every time a Why the Last Man comes out, or a Walking Dead trade comes out, or
And I never know what's coming in the trade because it's so long since the issue came out. Like apparently something happened in Walking Dead recently, or something happened.
Yeah, but that stuff doesn't get covered in the trade. That's just us talking about it.
Right, no, true, but you hear people talking about it when it comes out in issue. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, that is the point.
People don't really. There's not much buzz when something's out in trade, unless it's something that's an original graphic novel and didn't come out in issue, or something like that. So.
Ben from St. Louis, Missouri. Question number 1. I have been reading through the Ultimate Fantastic Four trades the past couple of weeks, and I'm blown away by how good they are. These books seem to get great writers and artists in every single arc. Do you guys know? Do you read the series? If not, how come? I will admit I don't know much about these regular Marvel Universe Fantastic Four.
Just say it.
No.
Say
He's
it.
not saying floppies. I'm not saying 616. There
There
it is.
you said it.
It was in a negative context.
It doesn't matter.
But I am loving me the Ultimate Fantastic Four. Let's do that one first.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one who read Ultimate Fantastic Four.
I read the first
I read
arc.
the first arc.
Okay,
Warren
no, but
Ellis
I read
arc.
it into the 40s or 50s or
Yeah.
whatever, and I dropped it after 2 words.
Really?
Greg Land.
Mm.
The art, Greg Land's art, just before the whole tracing incident and stuff like that. Greg Land's art just turned me off big time. I just didn't like it at all, and mainly it was because
Was it Imminent on the first?
I don't remember the artist.
Okay, and
It
then-
might have been. It might have been
Now Ellis, and then that was followed by
Mike Carey.
Mike Carey?
Yep, because I
There was
dropped
nobody
it.
in the
Mike Carey
middle?
was for a
No,
while.
I dropped it because I
And then
didn't
Miller,
like it.
and then Miller was on it.
Okay.
Miller's been on it. Miller did a long run. That's when he did the zombies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. My problem with the Greg Land Human Torch looked like the guy from
Black Blue Lagoon. Yeah. It's strange you were turned off by Greg Land's art because usually it's since it's porn traced, you'd be the other way around.
Yeah, you think? Yeah. Go figure.
I don't want to get angry letters from Greg Land. You know what? If people like his work.
No, but
I
the
just
thing
don't
is,
like it.
we
Yeah,
tried it.
yeah,
We all tried it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I didn't
really
like it.
dug the first arc.
Yeah, Warren
You know what else I really liked? I really liked Ultimate Fantastic Four as they showed up in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I thought that was excellent. But for whatever reason, I kept buying it after Warren Ellis for a couple issues, but I wasn't interested. So
I wasn't into Mike Carey's story for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
The
Didn't
stuff
catch me.
Miller did was great. I mean, the zombie arc. It wasn't. The zombie arc is what then influenced Marvel Zombies, that Kirkland did. But Marvel Zombies had a kind of a huckster kind of humor kind of aspect to it. And the
Miller's
the
scary.
Miller zombie was scary. Was
Right.
like what happened was that Reed looked into another dimension and found an alternate Fantastic Four that were zombies and they were going to eat everybody. And it was fucked up. It was really scary. So,
Do the brains thing.
Yeah, brains. So, yeah.
he just thinks that's really fun.
I
Question
do.
number 2.
The second
hit me in the
question
head.
from Ben. Just wanted to get that right. Connor's post about space got me thinking about my own space for wondering.
Storage space.
Yeah, Connor did a post on that.
Actually, I was meaning to talk about space,
On iFanboy.com.
and it came out wrong.
He was going to do like a whole Stephen Hawking thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Connor did a post about not having enough room for all of the comics. And he was wondering, what do you guys do with the issues that you don't have space for and can't get rid of? I have tons of issues from things I bought on a whim but don't seem to sell on eBay. Do you throw them away? In this green world, should I recycle them? What do you do?
You could recycle them.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna throw them away, then they should be recycled. That's what
I don't get rid of anything. I'm a pack rat.
He also has obsessive compulsive disorder.
Well, you just started getting rid of your magazines from 20 years ago.
Right, but magazines are a little more transient. They're not gonna be worth anything. No, I mean, I did cleaned house on all my magazines and all that kind of stuff. But the comics I want to keep. I mean, if I buy something, I want to keep it.
When I moved from Los Angeles to New York, I went to my shop and I said, can you take these? And he said, I guess. And basically,
Did you go to the comic shop?
I went to my local shop. I had a good relationship with him, so that was.
You didn't go to the butcher and say, "Can you take these?"
No, but basically, I just said I have a ton of
It's a
comics I have
rug
to get rid of, and he's like, "Well, I can give you like a dime an issue or something like that."
That's how much.
And that's what you know what though, like.
There are some retailers who will buy collections or buy long boxes or whatever, and they'll pay you by the pound. Which is
They weigh
I
your
got
bucks.
but the thing is, any books
No, how much you
basically,
weigh, not the comics.
any books from the 90s forward aren't worth very much. I mean, basically,
worth crap.
It's older than that. They'll be worth anything. If they're 90s or newer, like everybody's got a billion issues of the crap issues. If you don't want them, that means no one else does either.
How many Darkhawks do you got?
25 copies.
He gave me 10 cents on the issue. I think he actually raised it a little bit, and I got the Marvel Zombies hardcover.
Cool.
And I got
So you traded them. So you traded them for credit, basically.
Basically, yeah. And I got a couple of books now, and I wasn't going to do anything with those. They were just taking up space, and that was like 3 long boxes.
How many did you keep?
7 or 8 long boxes, I think.
What you could do is you could donate to your local library
Yep.
or your local school system.
Or Children's Hospital.
Get kids. Yeah, that's a great one.
Unless
Children's
they're
Hospital.
porno comics.
I like to.
Don't want to donate porno comics to Children's Hospitals.
do you
It's a simple rule.
I like to read Scalped and then bring it to the Children's Hospital.
Right. Also, maybe not all comics that are. Maybe they're. Keep your porno comics.
Under your.
Those have reusability value.
It got weird too because we're all in shorts.
Anyway, moving on. So yeah. So
We haven't had one of those in a while.
No, good stuff.
I'm up.
You ain't the only one, buddy. There it is. Oh, it's a new low. This week we're bringing iFanboy to a new low.
Our next letter also comes from St. Louis, Missouri. It's from Naim
Hotbed of
Siddiqui.
activity in St. Louis.
We have a lot of people in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Jim Ski and Quack talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I'm one of your few teens.
3.
I'm one of the few teens who listens to the podcast. He's 14.
Awesome.
Great show for you to be watching.
We're sorry about that, your parents.
I have sort of a fun question for you guys. If your life were a comic, who would you have write and draw it? I would have Jeff Johns and Adam Beechin writing and Ethan Van Sciver on the art.
So he's a DC character then.
Yeah. Well, I would have Jeff Johns write me as well because he could update me
For the contemporary times.
He could reinvent me for contemporary times and make it more interesting.
But still keep your old school
keep my sensibility,
but
exactly.
make you cool for the new age.
Exactly. I think that's definitely what I would do. Art-wise, I would have Art Adams.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And think about Jeff Johns, Art Adams doing a project.
Does Art Adams even do projects anymore?
Not so much covers.
He did a cover recently and I missed it and I was annoyed.
Yeah.
Like an alternate cover, I didn't buy it. All right, anyway.
Who would you be written and drawn by, Kana?
I would have the classic Justice League team of Keith Giffen, James DeMatteis, and Kevin Maguire do my life.
You look like you were drawn by Kevin Maguire,
Yeah.
so that works. That's a good one.
My life would be a lot funnier than it is.
It would be. And you
Instead
could
of
punch Guy Gardner.
awfully tragic, like it is right.
Josh?
It's lame, but I would be written by Bendis because I have snappy banter. I do, and I'm constantly saying this. I'm full of word balloons.
It's true.
Always
Who's drawn it?
That's a tough one. I'm having
Also
a hard time
Bendis.
thinking about that.
David Mack.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna go. My first instinct was Malieve, but then I was like, they effed with Matt Murdock a lot in his Daredevil run.
It doesn't mean
and
they
I don't
with
want
you.
that.
I don't think your life is gritty enough for it.
Well, no, but that's what. Yeah. So, I'm gonna go with Sean Phillips.
I'm not surprised by that.
Also not gritty enough for Sean Phillips.
Yeah,
He can
not
do
so
either
much.
though.
Yeah.
I like Sean Phillips' art. Did you ever read? He was Joe Casey's Wildcats.
Yes.
He was the artist on that.
Yes.
That wasn't
Very
gritty.
That's true.
Joe could write you.
Joe would make me. He would make it too hardcore for me.
He would
Like-
fuck with you.
Yeah, he would, and it would just be like, I'm not tough enough. I'm not tough as nails.
I feel as if Howard Porter could draw you as well.
Actually, and this is going to be odd, I think Bagley or Eminem could probably take that.
Irony.
Yeah, and then
Excellent.
everything behind me would be very flat. That thing is haunted.
It just moves. All right, so do we see another question?
That ended up being a
that's
really good question.
That was an awesome
that's a
question.
great
Thank you.
Nine.
Nine. All right, so our last question comes from Brian from Mission Viejo.
Viejo.
Thank you. I'm a backwards comic fan that needs your help.
I'm like,
It's Bizarro.
It's like we're like doing shtick this week.
where's my straw hat and my checkered jacket?
Anyway,
like
through browsing comic book stores and shows like yours, I've been able to find most comic storylines my whole life. But
Wait, his whole life? How long has he been? We've only been doing this for a year.
But I've never picked up a character or book. The one character that I've never given much thought to is Green Lantern.
He's never picked up a character? What book?
He's browsing comic book stores and shows like yours. He's been able to find most comic book storylines, but he's never picked up, he's never followed one character.
Oh.
Or, he's just kind of a casual fan. That's
Yeah.
that. So, but he's one character that he's been curious about is Green Lantern. After watching our latest podcast from the San Diego Comic-Con a few episodes back, and seeing our interview with Ethan Van Sciver, your buddy, I'm thinking about picking up the
Because
character.
I interview Should I interview somebody?
He's thinking
He
about
doesn't remember me.
He did actually. Anyway, I'm thinking about picking up the character. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Green Lantern and where to start. So that's his first question. His second question is later on. So where to start with Green Lantern? I think you're making a wonderful decision. I adore the Green Lantern.
Why does this feel like he's coming out? I know. 'Cause he does. And like, that's okay. But
Now I never got in. I was a Marvel kid growing up, and I never really got into DC. And the Flash and Green Lantern at the same time. I went to Toys R Us to buy Star Wars figures, and they had like a $5 8-pack of comics, and it was half Flash comics, half Green Lantern. It must have been
Green Lantern?
backstock. It
Kyle
was
Rayner,
Kyle
probably.
Rayner. Yeah, it was like late '90s, and it was like it was the crossover. Do you remember the crossover where it was a cruise ship, and Green Lantern and Kyle and Wally teamed up, and it was their first team up, and it was like the covers matched, so it was like the cruise ship sinking, and they were
I think
helping
so,
people get
yeah.
off
I
of it.
hope you still have that issue.
I do. Yeah, it's in the long box, bagged and boarded. I really liked Kyle Rayner. I thought he was really cool, but that got me into Green Lantern. I fell in love with Hal Jordan. We dated. Didn't end so nicely. No, but
He's a player.
He is.
but so Green Lantern is a great character with a great history.
We're being watched.
It's like a propeller. It's like a the plane.
Prop plane.
So
Lines.
so recently there was a miniseries by Ethan Van Sciver and Jeff Johns, and it was Green Lantern Rebirth. I think it was called, right? It was the Return of Hal Jordan. That was a great trade paperback that you could pick up to catch up on kind of Green Lantern history, that sort of thing.
And you can jump right into the Green Lantern series with other trades that collect the most recent series, which is on issue in the 20s.
20, 21, 22 or something
Yeah.
like that.
I don't. Just the other side. I don't follow characters very much. There's not like I have to buy every Spider-Man book or everything. I tend to follow writers. I mean, if anything, Invincible, like he's a character I follow, but there's really only one guy doing it, so it's hard to say. But I can't think of any. Like you buy Batman books,
Right.
and you buy X-Men books.
Right. I think he just wants to know how to pick up Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing that like
Well, you have a favorite Green Lantern story, don't you?
you don't. New Frontier?
Yeah. Well, it's not really a Green Lantern story.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it is
Well,
too.
yeah,
He's the
yeah.
center of that.
he's the
story.
main character.
So maybe look at Green Lantern Rebirth. That's a good place to start.
He's got one more question.
Yeah, I know he does. Do you want to?
You threw the paper
I
away.
threw the paper. I was rash.
Premature.
His final question is also if you have any suggestions on where to buy subscriptions online because the man just tore down my local shop.
The man. is
Man
always
did.
and stuff. So
Like a guy came in, he looked like Burt Reynolds, and he had a mustache.
I know it's going down.
This whole place is going.
Snapping his gum. Nope.
Subscription services online.
I used to have a local store, so I don't use them. I hear good things about DCBS, Discount Comic Book Service. I heard they're very, very
Orderingcomics.com.
order, yeah, mail order comics.
Mail order comics?
Mailorder.com.
Is there ordering one?
Maybe. Midtown Comics in New York, they do stuff like that. But I've heard, an in-stock trades is good for buying trades.
There's your
stock trade
there's
stuff.
everyone. There's free ads for everyone.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
yeah.
It's good for saving a lot of money. There was a thread on our forums at one point where somebody put up a comparison of what he paid versus what he would have paid.
Yeah.
And he saved a lot of money. He bought a lot of books, and he got them shipped 4 times a month, or like every week. So, but you'd get them on
Delayed.
Friday or Saturday rather than Wednesday. Which works because our audio show comes out on Monday, so you've got
Sunday
the
night.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, to read them. But yeah, so check them out and just go online to Google and type in comic book subscription.
I feel a little shameless from that.
Why?
Well, I don't know, because I was like, and as long as you can read them to listen to our show, then you'll be fine.
It's a little shameless.
It was.
It's okay though. All right, cool. So that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
We love getting mail from everybody, and if you have a question, and we answer emails on our audio show as well as this here video show, you can send us an email to contact@ifanboy.com. No, we can't read them all, but the good ones.
Well, we read them all.
Yeah, but we can't read them on the show.
We do respond to them all.
Yes, exactly.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Yes. So.
If you don't want to send us an email, you can call us at 188-FANBOYS, which is 326-2697. Leave us a voicemail. We answer the voicemails on the audio show. We also occasionally do voicemails on this show. So give them 45 second-ish and tell us where you're from, who you are.
And then there's the website.
There is one.
There is the website.
We do a website?
We do.
do.
Have a website.
Okay, good. Well, that's ifanboy.com, and there will be a post for this show, and there will be a post for all of the audio shows about which I spoke of before. And then we blog stuff, and we put up shipping lists. We talk about, this is for the other guy who needed that, talk about the stuff that's coming out that week. It's a really good way, actually, to sort of see what's coming up. You may miss something. I miss one book every week.
He does.
Every week I miss one book.
That's the clockwork.
Stephen Edie.
You can also go to...
You got that right, Frank.
He does every week. He goes, what do I miss? And I say, you missed Jonah Hex.
And he knows, which is weird. Or you can go to the Revision 3 forums, and that's accessible through there's a link on our main page, or you can go to revision3.com and find it there. Lots of stuff going on there, so be part of it.
Yeah, so we love to hear from you. So and we love doing these
Bugs!
And there are bugs. So we're gonna go swimming before it gets before the sun goes down. Yeah,
Is this magic hour?
I think it is magic hour.
I think it's just before magic hour.
Is it spring break time?
Spring break. Woo! I really wasn't prepared for that. It's kind of cold. I'm just glad it happened really Shallow water, you